This is Marshall Zhukov, and here we are. Well, you know the rest. Made a acquisition. I've never had a Sig before. I don't know as I have even ever shot one. But this is the 220 aftermarket grips. It's got one mag. That's how it was when I bought it. Only had one mag, and I just put 5 rounds through it real quick the other day, but I gotta get into it, tear into it, clean it apart, take it apart and clean it, I guess. I don't know if you can clean it apart. Anyways, probably by now I'd say everybody's probably noticed the interesting color of the slide. Interesting it is. As far as I understand, this is never a factory feature, and somebody did this to this gun. Let's see, whatever they put on it is chipping away a little bit. Maybe it's just paint, which that'll just make things a whole lot easier, I think. I don't have any original Sig finish to go on it. I don't even know what goes on an original Sig slide. Fortunately, the frame wasn't messed with at all. It's still, I guess, in its anodized black, whatever finish it is. Aftermarket grips. They're Hogue grips. They feel pretty good. Looks like the pistol has a little bit of use on it. Bought it used. Get a better look at the barrel and stuff when I get it taken apart. But it's really easy to take one of these apart if you've never done it. Lock the slide back, flip down the takedown lever, and only 2 hands for this, but here's a slide release. Depress the slide release, the slide will come off, and the recoil spring, it's a pretty heavy recoil spring on the 220, but just kind of cup your hand over, hold your hand over just in case, which it probably shouldn't, but just in case it decides it wants to wing out, it's going to throw that, it's going to throw the recoil rod, if it does, but it shouldn't. So I released the slide. It's forward, it's ready to slide off. When I take it off, we can see the recoil rod here, the guide rod, and we can see how it sits right in there. It's usually pretty secure in there, but when I take it off, and even on my Beretta I'll do the same thing, is I'll cup my hand over the end of it, just in case it wants to wing off or slide off somewhere, especially if someone's standing next to you. Just a little extra safety step so that spring pressure doesn't get into somebody's eye. Anyways. Doesn't really look like there's a whole lot of wear on the frame, but I'll need 2 hands to get this spring taken out. You'll just have to, well, no, I got her with 1. Check out the barrel. Got a little spray on her there. Yeah, I'm not sure what exactly it is. I guess it's just paint or something, but I'll take it to the wire wheel, polish this, anyways, the this part of the barrel up. A little bit dirty. Haven't had a chance to clean it yet. Bore doesn't look too bad. Looks like it's got a little use again, but a little bit of wear on there. Looks like there's a few little rust spots underneath, and we can see on the slide here where there is just a little bit of rust spots, but I think that should clean up pretty easy. Get out the wire wheel and see what happens. But other than that, looks to be in decent shape. Frame doesn't look too bad after the grips came off. You get to see all the internals. It's nice and light. It is a nice alloy frame. Weird little springs and stuff. I'd never had a Sig apart before, so not too bad. Pretty cool. Well, it didn't take very long at all to get that paint off. It must have just been some kind of paint. I don't know if it was any type of firearm coating. If it was, maybe it was pretty cheap because it was nothing to get it off of there. But it is pretty shiny. It looks a lot shinier on the camera when the light hits it than it does out of frame while I'm looking at it. But I don't know. I'll probably take the buffer wheel to it, just polish it up, but I'm not going to take any sandpaper to it, I don't think. It would be nice to get the machining lines out of it and have it just be a nice, bright, smooth, and polished look, but it'll look good enough, just with some grit and some time on the polishing wheel, I think. Even though it does look decent as it is now. Kind of sits in there, gonna kind of get an idea of what it might look like. So hopefully it won't be too much of a hassle to get everything stripped off the slide. So I guess I better get going on it. Well, it did clean up pretty good. I guess we'll see what the next step is that I want to do. You can see right there the little spots where the rest was. But if anything, I'll probably reblue it. A little white paint came off too, which is no big deal. But the 220, my first Sig, I'm anxious to get it out, get it on some paper, see how it does. And I do kind of like these grips. The finger grooves are nice. They're not too soft. It's got a nice grip that wraps around behind. Just took her off the buffing wheel too and shined it up a little bit. Actually looks pretty good. If I were going to reblue it, I'd probably just leave it like it is and use a couple different finer compounds on the buffing wheel, get a little bit more shine, and spend a little more time on it. Just give it a real nice shine. The barrel shined up real nice too. Nice and shiny. But it does look kind of cool in this kind of a two-tone configuration, but if this slide, which appears to be just a stamped, the Sig stamp slide, if it were stainless, then surely there shouldn't have been any rust on it. I'll have to research to see which slides Sig makes that were stainless. I don't know how old this is either. I'll have to research to see if you can find out by serial number, in fact, how old the pistol is, or when it was made anyways. So, to reblue or not to reblue? That is your question.